Hi there, I'm Vincent and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing Dumpee mistakes. What to do if you make mistakes as a Dumpee. I provide audio coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details. www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing Dumpee mistakes. What to do if you make mistakes as a Dumpee. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, it's very likely that you will make mistakes. The problem is when you make mistakes before you even realise they are bad decisions. In today's podcast, I discuss 3 mistakes to try and avoid and what to do if you have already made them. So let's get straight into this. And number 1 is being overly emotional during the breakup. Now, most Dumpees will go through a very challenging time, especially at the time of a breakup. It's very natural, and guess what? We're all human beings, and we all go through it. So you are not alone if you're a Dumpee and you feel that you was overly emotional at the time of a breakup. It's very natural. It is almost what to be expected. Now, of course, in a perfect world, if you was absolutely sure of the situation, if you was able to keep a stable mind throughout the breakup and beyond, then this would be a perfect scenario. But we don't live in a perfect world. We're all human beings, we all make mistakes, and we all live emotional lives. So being overly emotional during the breakup isn't ideal, but it is to be understood, it is to be expected somewhat, and it's more important to make sure that you regain your stable mindset ASAP. I always like to suggest that the key is to make sure that after the breakup is settled, that you start to become as stable-minded as possible and proceed in a positive way. Because it's fairly unrealistic to suggest that you should stay almost emotionless during a time of being dumped. At the time of a breakup, it's completely understandable to be asking your soon-to-be dumper, what is going on, why is this happening, and can this be sorted out? You are within your rights to be asking questions. You are within your rights to be saying that you don't want this relationship to end. It makes perfect sense, and this is to be understood. So if voices get raised, if texts start to seem a little bit needy during this moment, it's not perfect, it's not ideal, but it is to be understood. It's much more important that you try to relax your mindset and move forward with stability after the breakup has been finalised, when it has been absolutely understood that your soon-to-be dumper is not going to change their mind. When you say to them, I don't want this relationship to end, and they make it clear that it is going to end, it's much more important that when the dust settles in the days that follow, that is when you want to stabilise your mindset and really think of it from there as if you are moving forward in a way which is helping you try to get your ex back rather than pushing your ex further away. So just to clarify this, it's not perfect to be behaving in an unstable way during the breakup, but it is most likely to happen. The vast majority of Dumpees will be very emotional, whether it is in person, via text, over phone, whatever the scenario. You are likely to be making mistakes somewhat during this initial period of time, but in the scheme of things, it is not the breakup moment which will dictate if your ex will ever want to reconcile. It is much more about what happens as soon after the breakup as you can stabilise. So what to do if you make this mistake, if you make the first mistake on this list of being overly emotional during the breakup, you've just got to forgive yourself. You've got to understand the past as the past. If you wake up and you realise, look, I was very emotional yesterday when I was dumped. That is that, okay? From this point on, you will try your hardest to move forward in a way which is going to help your course rather than hinder it. But forgive yourself, don't beat yourself up. You can't change the past, and the vast majority of Dumpees would have behaved exactly the same as you, or if not, even a little bit more emotional. So make sure you don't use this as a stick to beat yourself with once more. Because it's happened, it's over, and now it's time to proceed with positivity. So now let's move into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast about dumping mistakes, what to do if you make mistakes as a dumpee. And the second mistake on this list is breaking no contact. So if we have got to the point where the breakup has been finalised and you understand that your ex is now your ex, that this is real and you are now a single person, if you want to try to get your ex back, my best advice is to implement my version of the no contact rule. Now, for those of you who are not aware, the no contact rule is something that lots of people suggest you implement if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back. However, there are many different versions of a no contact rule that you can find online, and I believe that my version will give you the best possible chance of success. So I suggest that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, ring the bell for notifications, and check out my playlist entitled The No Contact Rule. If you listen to this playlist all of the way through, you will be able to fully immerse yourself in my version of a rule and why I believe it will give you the best possible chance of success. My version of a no contact rule not only increases your chance of one day getting your ex back, but it enables you to move forward in a way which, even if you don't get your ex back, you will be much more likely to find somebody even better. And the crux of this concept is that it is not about just trying to reattract your ex. It's about learning about yourself. It's about breakup recovery. It's about moving forward in a way where you fully understand yourself and you can improve every single day. But what happens if you start using my version of a no contact rule, but then you make the mistake of breaking no contact? Well, the first thing to say is that nothing works 100% of the time and nothing fails 100% of the time. There will be the odd person who breaks no contact and still finds success. These things do occasionally happen. This is why there is no paint-by-numbers advice about breakup recovery or getting your ex back, because there is nothing to be guaranteed. But what we have to look for here are the statistics, the likelihood and the odds of what is going to increase your chances of success and what is going to decrease your chances. And if you break my version of a no contact rule, then unfortunately you will be decreasing your chances of getting your ex back. Is it still possible you can get your ex back? Yes, it is. And as I've said, very occasionally, sometimes people would do exactly the opposite of what people such as myself suggest, and they still find success. Occasionally it will work. But the vast majority of people who break no contact consecutively and consistently will not find success. So my suggestion to you, if you make the mistake of breaking no contact, is to restart your no contact journey. Has it hindered your chances by breaking no contact? Yes, it has. They are the facts, okay? But if you restart no contact once more, then you will be once again increasing your chances of success. The more times you break no contact, the more damage you are doing to your course, purely because you are frustrating your ex, you are annoying your ex, you are destroying what little attraction they might have still for you. Additionally, somebody can't miss you if you are always in their life. If you're always in their space, how can they ever start to miss you, start to wonder about you, and start to regrow attraction? Now, of course, I'm just really going over that very, very quickly. Listen to the No Contact Rule podcasts that I've done on my playlist to fully understand this more. But in essence, what we're saying is if you break no contact, you are statistically harming your chance of getting your ex back. But the good news is that you can start no contact again. And although if you consistently break no contact, it could really lessen your chances overall, if you break it once, if you break it twice, the likelihood is that if you do everything right moving forward from that point, you probably won't be damaging your chances in a permanent sense. Look, even people who perform a perfect no contact occasionally don't hear from their ex again, as I've said. There is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back, and nothing works 100% of the time, just as nothing fails 100% of the time. So all we're looking to do is to do enough of the right things to increase our chances, and to avoid doing the wrong things, which are likely to decrease our chances. If you break no contact, you're decreasing your chance. And if you start no contact again in a way that you can stick to it appropriately and in the right sense, in the right respect, doing the right things, then you will be likely putting yourself in a position where in the future your chances of success won't have been harmed significantly overall. So if you make the mistake of breaking no contact, try to dust yourself down and start again. You're much more likely to find success with no contact than without it. So if you break it, the best advice is to get back on the horse and start it again. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast about dumpee mistakes. What to do if you make mistakes as a dumpee. And mistake number 3 is looking at your ex's social media. Now, I always suggest never looking at your ex's social media. It is never going to help you. At best, it will confuse you, and at worst, it will break your heart again. If you ever look at your ex's social media and you believe that your ex is sending you some type of signal, some type of sign, the likelihood is that this is not the case. The likelihood is that you are creating a scenario in your own mind to fit your own narrative. Now, I can't say for certain that is the case every time. Very, very occasionally, of course, like I've said with everything, this might be not what I'm saying. This could be a situation where your ex has suggested something online. But what I would say to that is at the end of the day, if they are not reaching out to you directly, it doesn't matter if they are showing you a sign. It doesn't matter if they are doing something to try to get your attention. If they are not willing to send you a direct message, but they are not ready to reconnect. So in essence, whether this is real, whether this is false, this is not going to help you. Okay? If you then look online and you check your stories and you see your ex was watching your story, but then all of a sudden they've stopped, this is going to hurt you. But you don't know why they started and you don't know why they stopped. There are many possibilities, and hence it clouds your judgment. You might look at what your ex posts and think, oh, they're sounding sad or they're sounding happy. This means something about their state of mind, their life. You don't know what's going on. Social media shows what the people typing it want you to see. So at the end of the day, social media will not help you. Your ex's social media will not showcase you anything unless they reach out to you. So although you can use social media in a way to try to reattract your ex, you certainly can't get your ex back just by looking at their social media. It is not going to help. Many people speak to me about they find this almost as an addiction, looking at their ex's social media. I would strongly suggest trying to stop. It will put your ex in your mind 24/7. It will prevent you from moving forward and making new connections. It keeps you locked up in a space where you can't stop thinking about your ex. And this will not help you get them back. This will not help you find somebody better. So what do you do if you keep making the mistake of looking at your ex's social media? Well, I would always say, you've got to do what you've got to do, and your mental health must come first. If you feel that you can't stop looking and it's damaging your mindset, you might need to block your ex online. Now, is this ideal? Well, no, it's not ideal. You want to be leaving as many avenues as possible for your ex to reach out to you one day. But if you can't move through your day without looking at their social media, then blocking them might be your only option. Remember, mental health comes first. You must look at the whole picture and understand what is best for you and your health. So at the end of the day, if you can't stop checking your ex's social media, my suggestion is to consider blocking them. You could always unblock them if and when you feel more comfortable, where you can leave the avenue open for them to reach you, but you won't be checking them. That is always a possibility. The most important thing is your health, your mindset, and your future. And if you can't stop looking at your ex's social media, you're really stagnating and holding yourself back from what you could potentially achieve. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. Date me tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, date me tips, check it out now.